Hello, everybody. Ha! I caught it in time. So screw you, tech. Screw you. I mean, why? Why? Nothing changed since last week. Except the microphone decides, no, it's going to go back to default, which is mute. I hope you all have had a day of joy, happiness, and laughter. I know I certainly have. And if your day is just beginning, like those of you down in Australia, I wish you an absolutely marvelous day and hope that you have amazing breakfast and that it doesn't involve Vegemite. Vegemite is absolutely horrific and should not have ever been invented. Anyway. That's not why we're here. I love you all. And if you choose to eat Vegemite, so be it. I won't hold it against you or anywhere near me, as a matter of fact. Right, so moving on from my unrequited animosity towards Vegemite. Anyway, we are here. It's good to see all of you. Hopefully this time slot will work for you in the future. We're going to have a look at it and see how it works out. And so there we are. Right, so if you have not watched one of these shows before, I would suggest going to go and watch last week's episode, book number 2, just so you know where we are, because we're already in the middle of book number 2. Well, I say middle, we're in book 2 somewhere. We don't know where exactly we are. It's a choose your own adventure book, so there's lots and lots of different entries, and each entry gives us several options, usually, that we get to choose from. I will then run a poll with the page numbers that it is suggesting that we turn to, and we vote on that. As soon as I have at least 50% of the viewers, so currently there's 30 of you watching, if I get 15 votes or more, that's when I stop the poll and we move forward. So until I get at least 50% voting, I don't close the poll. All right, so if you recall, we had washed up, we were stuck in this horrid city of Ragadorn, where we had been basically robbed by a bunch of sailors, and we have just got ourselves back to kind of where we were. We lost a lot of gold, we lost most of our equipment, we've got a dagger and the seal of Hammerdal, which is a ring that we need to take to the capital of Duranor, which is Hammerdal itself. Okay, so let's continue. If you recall, we had just defeated some bandits and we're now returning to the tavern. As you re-enter the tavern, you can see that most of the sailors are clustered around the center table to watch an arm wrestling contest. If you wish to enter the contest, turn to 276. If you wish to talk with the innkeeper, turn to 342. So, what are we going to do? Now, our combat skill, which I'm assuming is what it's going to use, is 19, which I don't think is bad out of a potential 23, I think it is. So 276, we enter the arm wrestling contest, could earn us some coins. Or 342, we speak to the innkeeper. So, I mean, I guess if we enter the competition, we could get some extra crowns and then possibly book passage on a ship so that we can leave Ragadorn and sail on to Port Brax. But maybe it would be better to speak with the innkeeper and just see what he has to say. I doubt that he'll know where the brigands live or have run off to. I think we can pretty much discount getting our gold back. So, I don't know. It's a tough one, and there's no guarantee that we'll get what we're looking for. Well, the votes are streaming in, and there is a definite consensus as to what we're going to do. Right, we are just over the... hang on, got to do maths now. Oh, my goodness. Yes, we are just over half the number of votes collected, but the swing might happen. It seems like we're a little bit torn. Between arm wrestling or speaking with the tavern keeper. I'm going to let the poll go for a little bit moment longer. We've got 22 votes, 37 of you watching. If you can't vote, I understand. If you're just listening in, that's fantastic. Thank you for joining us. If you can vote, well, I suggest you do so in the next few moments. And of course, if you haven't hit that like button yet, I do ask you to do so, as that does help the show be promoted amongst Amazon's polls and things. Now I have to wait for the votes because we're at 50% on both choices. Now, in the case of 50%, usually that's when I just randomly choose one. So let's see what happens. 24 votes cast, 50% at the moment. And there we go, 25 votes. I'm going to end it because this is a simple decision, hopefully. And so with 51%, we're going to the arm wrestling competition. 276. You never know. We maybe we'll impress someone and they'll hire us, or I don't know. Let's see. Did I say 276? 276. All right. A grim-looking sailor is challenging all comers to an arm wrestling contest. He is so confident of winning that he will pay 5 gold crowns to anyone who beats him. As you approach his table, a serving girl whispers in your ear, "Be careful, stranger. He is an evil man. He breaks the arms of those who lose, and murders anyone who beats him." As you face the sailor across the table, bets are made throughout the tavern. If you have the Kai discipline of Mind Blast, which we do, turn there. All right, so we're going to go there. 1, 4, 14. As the contest begins, you use your Kai discipline to weaken your opponent's concentration. Beads of sweat stand out on his forehead, and his eyes gradually close as he withers under your relentless mind blast. In less than a minute, he has collapsed to the floor, completely unconscious. I'm not sure if that was cheating. Is that how you arm wrestle? I'm new to town. That's how we arm wrestle back at the academy. There is shocked silence as you scoop up the 5 gold crowns from the table and turn to leave. But as you reach the tavern door, an ugly thug draws his sword and blocks your exit. Just as you are wondering what to do, there is a loud thud, and the man kneels over onto the floor. Behind him, to your surprise, stands the serving girl with a large wooden club in her hand. You thank her politely and race out of the door into the darkened street beyond. After running for 10 minutes in the dark, you spot a large stable and coach station through the gloom ahead. With the shouts of angry sailors still ringing in your ears, you quickly enter the building and spend the night safely hidden in the hayloft. Well, there we go. Well, that does double our coin, I guess. It was worth it, although I do feel like we're basically just cheaters. But that's fine. They robbed from us. Ragaddon sucks. You awake at dawn to the sound of the shrill cock crow. You can see the crooked streets of Ragaddon through a veil of heavy rain beating down on the cobblestones outside. It has been 6 days since you left Homeguard, and you are 200 miles from Port Bax. You are in the loft of a very large coach station. A group of green-clad men have arrived and have started to clean out one of the coaches. You overhear one of them say that the coach leaves for Port Bax at 1 o'clock this afternoon and that the journey will take 7 days. You are hungry and must eat a meal here or lose 3 endurance points. Okay. After the meal, if you decide to approach the coachman and ask to buy a ticket for the journey to Port Bax, turn to 136. If you would rather descend the ladder to the street outside, turn to 238. Okay. Well, do we try and buy passage? I mean, we did get the coin for a reason. Or perhaps rather go and try our luck out in the street? 136 asked to purchase on a ticket for the journey to Port Bax, or perhaps 238 descend the ladder to the street outside and see if we can make our own way. It is a far way to Port Bax, And if I look at the map, there does seem to be a pretty direct road through that cove and then across that river. Maybe we could just walk it. But if it's 7 days by coach, it's going to be longer than if we... Oh, I don't know. What to do? What to do? I'm ending the poll. We've got more than 50% and we have a clear leader. We're going to try and buy our way onto this coach. 136. The fare to Port Bax is 20 gold crowns, says the coachman in a Ragadornian accent. If you have 20 gold crowns and wish to purchase a ticket, turn to page 10. If you do not have enough money for the fare, turn to 238. No. But we were robbed. I don't care. Go away, you horrid little street urchin. Right. Opposite the coach station is a narrow street leading to a gaming house with a sign outside, "No weapons allowed inside." You are excited by the chance of being able to win some gold, and you quickly enter. Any weapons you have must be left with the guard at the door. You can recover your weapons when you decide to leave. You are given a silver token worth 1 gold crown. That can be used in this gaming house. The entrance hall opens out into a huge room where many gambling games are in progress. One that catches your eye is called Cartwheel. At one end of the long table, an attractive young woman spins a black dish divided into 10 sections marked 0 through 9. As the dish spins, she drops a small silver ball into it, which eventually comes to rest in one of the numbered sections. Several merchants are seated around the table, and they are betting heavily on the fall of the silver ball. To play Cartwheel, you must first decide the number that you would like to bet on, and on how many gold crowns you would like to stake. Make a note of these numbers, and then pick a number from the random number table. If you pick the exact same number, you win 8 gold crowns for every 1 gold crown you gamble. If the number you pick is immediately before or after the correct choice, you win 5 gold crowns for every 1 gold crown that you stake, and there is a limit that you can win at this table of 40 gold crowns. You may play as many rounds of Cartwheel as you wish until either you lose all of your gold crowns or you decide to pick up your winnings, to a maximum of 40 gold crowns. Okay, this one is easy, folks. Right, so I don't know how many I can add into this poll. We have to try, no doubt about it. Oh, I can only do 4. Okay. So it's a range, right? 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 9, and that's it. All right, good. So, vote, if you will, to narrow our numbers down. We have to choose a number. We have to choose a number. Statistically, if we want to be clever about this, 4 to 6 is statistically where the dice should fall. But this is gambling. It could happen anywhere. So, well, with the votes in, we're all relying on statistical probability to get us through this. So we're definitely going to vote for 4 to 6, which is great. And then, how much are we going to bet? Now, if we get... 4 to 6, we need to do a new poll, just to narrow this down, right? And you can all play along with this. So see how much money you would win or how much money you would lose. So here we go. What are we doing? Are we doing 4, 5, or 6? On a roll of a d10, we are statistically looking at 5.5. So 6 is probably a good bet. Not a lot of people voting. Well, we've got a lot of people voting, I should say. 6 seems to be the flavor of the month. So let's see about that. And there it is. The votes are in, more than 50%. So we are going with number 6. Now, theoretically, you can only win up to 40 gold. And you get 8 gold for every crown. So that means we have a range of 1 to 5. I think we should be a little bit bold and go 2, 3, 4, and 5. Sorry, complicated poll. But let's see what we're doing here. So this is how much gold we're going to bet on the number 6. On the number 6. So let's have a look and see how much are you willing to gamble on this? How much are you willing to gamble on this? Could be good. Could also be quite poor. Oh, we got big spenders in the crowd. Big spenders in the crowd. And Sean Hack saying, I hope my usual bad luck doesn't rub off on poor old Lone Wolf. Absolutely. If it's money, I gamble it all, says Ben Canal. So Wolvie Zandalari very correctly points out, keep in mind, 5 and 7 wins us crowns too. That's right, they win us 5 crowns each. Go low, don't lose all of our money on gambling. We don't want to be that guy, says Regina Reyna. Would rather stick a single on every other number. I think Anthony has worked out the right way to win this. I always win poker night, so I hope my good luck rubs in, says A-Cube. Right, well, I'm ending the poll. We are betting 5 crowns on the number 6. So here we go. Random number table. Give us lucky number 6. Or a 3. Which would be nothing. Okay, great. Right. I'm not going to go through this whole process again. Instead, I'm going to say, here's a poll. Do we bet exactly the same again, relying on chance, or do we stop? Let's see. Let's see what you say. Let's see what you say. Votes are coming in. Most of you saying, do it again. Just let it ride. Let it ride. We will take this money. In for a penny, in for a pound. Well, that's what they say. Nowadays, it's in for a pound, in for 1,000. So I don't see value in keeping 5. Yeah, that's true. There is no point in having 5 gold crowns. I don't think anything is worth 5 gold crowns. All right, votes are in. 69% have said we are doing this. Here we go. Come on, lucky number generator. Booyakasha. Oh, shwahaha. We're just gonna leave the building. If you have lost all of your gold crowns, turn to 169. Yep, that would be us. We cheat at wrestling and we cannot win at a random lucky number table. Yeah, we can stop whenever we want. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. We are that guy. Right. You leave the gaming house and walk dejectedly back towards the coach station. In the distance, you can see the east gate of the city. Waiting below it is the coach to Duranor. You must get to Port Bax. The future of Sumerland depends upon it. You slip past the guard and board the coach without him seeing you enter. As the departure timer gets nearer, 5 other passengers climb into the coach and seat themselves around you. The guard slams the door, and you begin your journey to Port Bax. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Brian. I'm going to Port Bax. Pick a random number from the random number table. If it rolls a 6, I'm going to scream. Ah! Ah! 249. Turn to 249. Oh, we have illustrations. We have some illustrations. Very nice illustrations. These are our passengers, fellow passengers, with us. During the course of the afternoon's journey, you chat with your fellow travellers and learn about their backgrounds. Sitting opposite are two brothers named Gannon and Doria. They are knights in the Order of the White Mountain, warrior lords of Duranor, who have pledged allegiance to protect the country from raids by the bandits of the Wildlands. They own a castle and land near Port Bax. Next to them sits Halvork. Halvork is a merchant. His nose is swollen and his face is badly bruised, thanks to Lachlan, the overlord of Ragadorn. A little misunderstanding about port taxes lost him his cargo and most of his gold. I hear you. Seated by the far door is a priest called Parsion. Like you, he is a Sumalanding who has journeyed across the wildlands by coach on his way to Port Bax. Beside you sits a young woman called Viveka. She is a mercenary adventuress who earns her gold by fighting for it and sells her services to the highest bidder. She is returning to Port Bax, having collected payment from a successful adventure in Ragadorn. Not wishing to reveal your true identity, you have pretended to be a simple peasant. The travellers seem unaware of the war that now rages in Sumaland. 39. At dusk, the coach stops at an inn on the coast road to Port Bax. The cost of a room for the night is 1 gold crown for coach passengers and 3 gold crowns for anyone else. If you are about to enter, the coach driver demands to see your ticket. Uh-oh. If you have a ticket for the journey to Port Bax, turn there. If you do not have a ticket, turn to 156. Well, you see, The driver becomes very angry and shouts, "There's a long walk ahead of you, stranger!" as he slams the door in your face. You cannot afford to buy a room for the night, so you decide to bed down with the horses in the stable next door. Well, they're much more polite company anyway. You climb to the top of a pile of sheaves of hay and pull your warm Kai cloak around your shoulders to keep out the chill wind. You quickly fall asleep, little knowing you will never open your eyes again. One of the other passengers on the coach, who is an agent of the Dark Lords, creeps out and assassinates you in the dark chill of the night. Do you know who it was? Your life and your quest have come to a tragic end here. Ah! No! Oh! Oh! Oh, no! Oh! Nothing! No chance! Just, you're dead! Just it! You're dead! Oh! Well, what can I say? We're dead! Boom, boom, you're dead, mother fridge fixer-upper. Oh, wow. Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Right. Well, yes, that's what this book does. It really does. It hurts you. It hurts you a lot. I have to say. And yeah, you just have to carry on. I would suggest, because we still have half an hour of time, I would suggest that we Well, I don't know. I don't know. Actually, folks, this is up to you. Now, I have thoroughly enjoyed reading the Lone Wolf series with you and going through these number choices and so on. And it's been so much fun, as a matter of fact, that another company got hold of me and they said, well, when you finish the Lone Wolf book, wouldn't you try our book? It's only just come out. And so they sent me a copy. And since we're voting, I don't see why we shouldn't vote on this. They sent me a copy of Star Trek Adventures solo roleplay. Now, I have only just got this book as of a couple of days ago, and I've started to go through it. But it looks like you could certainly roleplay on your own with this book. And I, of course, am a huge Star Trek fan. So one day we will play this book. The question is, do we want to try another Lone Wolf book? Or, not another book, do we want to try again? Or perhaps we should switch our attention to Star Trek Adventures. I believe the PDF is available. This is from Odysseus. I haven't finished reading it yet. Now, the first half of the book is just on setting up the Star Trek universe. So if you don't know anything about Star Trek, all of that is in the front of this book. So I've been reading all of that just to make sure that they are actually correct, which is important. And what gets me excited is that you create your character, and there's a role-playing process to creating your character. And then you create the starship that you're serving on. So that's something to think about. All right, so Star Trek Adventures, or we try Lone Wolf again. But what I'm going to propose is that we don't go through the whole thing again. We start where we left off last time, which is 177. So we basically just pretend that we have a save point, right? That's not how the book works, but I kind of feel like, let's just do this. So I will put it into a poll for you. I'm happy to carry on with Lone Wolf for the rest of today, by the way, because I need to finish reading the rules. So you tell me, all right. Just tell me your initial gut feeling. A lot of people saying, let's finish what we started. Some people saying it's whatever you want to do. So that's fine. So let's see. Wolfie making a good point. I have never beaten this book. I have never successfully survived through this book, ever. I don't recall dying this early on. I've died earlier. You can die when the ship is attacked. But, yeah, I feel like that there are a few little points where you're like, don't you think Sixth Sense should have kicked in when we were on the coach with a Agent of the Dark Lord? That's my thinking. Anyway. All right. Well, most votes for a poll ever. We carry on with Lone Wolf. Okay. Right. Let's carry on with Lone Wolf. And, yeah, we're going to just carry on and see. If we load from the save, we are stuck in the death loop because we need 20 gold for the coach or death. That's a fair point. So are you saying we basically have to start from the beginning? Well, we'll do another vote. I mean, that's what this is all about. So I'm going to say restart or carry on. And it's not the death loop necessarily, because this time we could actually win at the gambling. So just bear that in mind. So let's see. We've got 30 minutes. If we restart, we may have to look at those numbers. Oh, the votes were almost unanimous on a restart. Now it's split. Oh, it's now swinging back to carrying on. Let's see. 48% say restart. 53% carry on. 47% say restart. 53% say carry on. I'm going to close the voting. Yeah, I think the carriage ride was actually that roll where we did that random roll. I think that random roll was to give us a hint that someone was bad. So, right, we're carrying on from 177 as if the last half hour never happened. And so that gives us a chance to do the following. Do we, deja vu, wish to enter the arm wrestling contest on 276, or do we wish to talk to the innkeeper? As you enter the tavern, you can see that most of the sailors are clustered around a center table to watch an arm wrestling contest. So, yes, let's see what's going on there. Oh, now we're avoiding the arm wrestling contest. We were on 5 gold and 2 meals. So we're avoiding the arm wrestling contest, and now we're going to go and talk to the innkeeper. 342. Okay. Sorry, I need to finish the poll. The contest did get us 5 gold, but 342, clear winner. 342. Talk to the innkeeper. 342. You never know. We might get something different here. That's the joy of these books. He is a mountain of a man, completely bald, and with large gold rings hanging from each ear. He looks at you suspiciously and says, "Ale is a gold crown, a bed for the night is 2. What do you want?" If you wish to buy some ale, pay the innkeeper 1 gold crown and turn to 72. If you wish to stay here for the night, pay the man 2 gold crowns and turn to 56. If you want neither, but merely want to ask him a little bit about Raggadorn, turn to 226. I'm going to take a leap of faith here, folks, and say that we are going to ask him a little bit about Raggadorn. 226. Because we have no interest in a bed for the night. The innkeeper speaks with the tone of a native Raggadornian. You discover from him that this seaport is ruled by Lachlan, son of Killian, the overlord who died 3 years ago of the dreadful Red Death Plague. The innkeeper does not speak highly of Lachlan, whom he calls the Prince of Thieves. He and his mercenaries bleed the people dry with heavy taxes, and if you complain, you end up in the harbour with a dagger in your back. The big man shakes his head and pours another round of ale for the drunken sailors. If you wish to buy a room for the night, pay the innkeeper 2 gold crowns and turn to there. If you wish to try your luck at winning some gold crowns arm wrestling, turn to 276. Well, I think we should go to 276. 226. 226? What's happening at 226? Did I go to the wrong place? 226? Why are we 226ing? 276. What? I'm confused! We're going to go to 276. 276. 276. 276. All right. So, metagaming. Right. A grim-looking sailor is challenging all newcomers to an arm wrestling contest. He is so confident of winning that he will pay 5 gold crowns to anyone who beats him. As you approach his table, a serving girl whispers in your ear, "Be careful, stranger. He is an evil man. He breaks the arms of those who lose and murders any who beat him." I thought, well, we might as well have a new NPC voice, right? As you face the sailor across the table, bets are made throughout the tavern. Now, if you have Kai discipline, we are going to liquefy his mind, because that's what we do. You use your mind to weaken your opponent's concentration. Beads of sweat stand out on his forehead, and his eyes gradually close as he withers under your merciless mind blast. In less than a minute, he has collapsed to the floor. Gasp, shock, horror. Don't you hate it in computer games when you reload and you have to go through all of the dialogue options? So I'm basically just doing the skip until we get to something that we don't understand. There is a shocked silence as you scoop up the 5 crowns from the table and turn to leave. But someone tries to block your way. However, the young barmaid steps in, interposes, beats the snot out of the man at the door, and opens the door for you and pats you on the back as you leave. After running for 10 minutes in the dark, you spot a large stable and coach station through the gloom ahead. With the shouts of angry sailors still ringing in your ears, you quickly enter the building and spend the night safely hidden in the hayloft. Turn to 32. Excuse me. I beg your pardon. I do beg your pardon. We're on 10 gold now. Ha ha! You awake at dawn to the sound of a shrill cockcrow. You see the crooked streets of Raggadorn through a veil of heavy rain beating down on the cobblestones outside. It has been 6 days since you left Holmgard, and you are still 200 miles from Portbacks. You are in the loft of a very large coach station. A group of green-clad men have arrived and have started to clean out one of the coaches. You overhear one of them saying that the coach leaves for Portbacks at 1 o'clock this afternoon, and that the journey will take 7 days. You are hungry and must eat a meal here or lose 3 endurance points. Right. Now, there's no point in approaching the coachman because we know that he's going to tell us ticket costs 20 gold pieces. So 238. I know I'm taking away some of your agency, but there's no point in voting on something that we voted on before, only to get the same dead end. 238. You find the gambling house that you knew would be there, and you wander in looking all smug and happy with yourself, and are prepared to play the game Cartwheel. We all know how the game works. So, folks, the poll is... I will put it in chat right now. As you have 2 options that we need to decide upon. I mean, we could be cautious this time. Or not. But here is the poll. You get to decide on the outcome of that poll. So, are we going to just do it again? Ride 6? Or are we going to change our minds? Statistically, 6 is the number that should come up. 5, 6, or 7 should be there on a regular basis. So that's what chat is betting on as well. That is what chat is betting on as well. So I'm going to close that poll. And we're going to decide, are we going to go... I'm not going to put down 1. I think 1 is just... It's like, what are we doing here? Are we, what are we doing? What are we doing? Let's see. So, you tell me. And I'm going to ride this number, by the way. We're not going to spend 1,000 hours. I mean, it's fun gambling, but I kind of have a feeling like I'm going to die soon. And it's unnerving me. Lots of folks saying 1 is the smart number. But 1 is so 1-ish. You know? 2 gets us 16 gold straight away. Which is not bad. That would get us onto the coach. I mean, folks, we really don't need to worry about getting onto this coach. We know that we can literally just sneak on board. It would be about staying with the coach. And 2 is basically 1, really, if you think about it. Let's see. Yeah, we do need some food later on. Okay, the votes are in. We're going to be betting 2. We have gone in the opposite direction. This version is a much more cautious version. So we're betting 2 gold. Here we go. Lucky number generator number, and booyah! 0. Okay? Great. 2 down. Let's go again. Booyah! Okay, great. Let's go again. Shebang! Okay, great. Let's go again. Ha! Yes! Woohoo! Yes, glory! Glory! Brilliant! That gets us 5 crowns, because it's not 6. But that puts us on 9. So let's go again. Huh! No. Alright, fine. We go again. Sa! No! Come on! Huh! Okay, look. This is bad. This is very, very bad. Oh, we don't get 5 gold. We get 10 gold. Ha! Yes! Well done, chat. So I'm going to put this back up at 8. So there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. There we go. There we go. So we're back on an 8. So, I don't know what we do now. Do we carry on going? Do we carry on going? Yes or no? Do we just call it? I mean, because statistically, this thing has been all over the place. Yes, rewinding to the fisherman not waving us down is no choice. Keep going. Okay, there we go. That's the first comment I got. Here we go. And oh. Okay, maybe it's all about being calm and just casually going, meh. No, apparently that's not it. Okay. Okay, great stuff. This is looking good. That's all I'm going to say. That is all I am going to say. You slip past the guard once you have left the coach, left the tavern feeling incredibly disheartened. You leave the coach feeling like you've done this before. You leave the tavern, the gambling den, and you slip into the coach because apparently the guard is completely useless. And now we get to choose a random number. 0 to 3, turn to 39. Okay, so this really, 169 is where the world splits into 3. There's 3 options there. Okay, but we're going to 39. We still have no money. I think it's a great life lesson, says Sean Hack, and I agree. Okay. Oh, fish. At dusk, the coach stops at an inn on the coast road to Port Bax. The cost of a room for the night is 1 gold crown for coach passengers and 3 gold crowns for anyone else. As you are about to enter, the coach driver demands to see your ticket. We don't have a ticket, so we go to 156, and let me guess. He gets very angry. Sod off, he says. So we go into that loop, which leads us to death. Okay, great. What was that number? 169. I am now, here and now, I am cheating. And I'm going to turn to 339, which is the only other option that we haven't been to. And also the coins don't matter, because before we get into the tavern, the coachman intercedes us. So, right. We're going to go to 339. It's just a blatant cheat. 339. And here we go. This is what used to happen, folks, was that I'd get to the point where I'm like, you know what? I could play through the whole thing, but if it literally comes down to this random table, I got to see what it does. $339. After only half an hour, the coach is stopped by some armed horsemen. They wear the black ship and red crest emblem of Lachlan, the overlord of Ragadan. They demand gold in payment for what they call exit taxes. 1 crown from each passenger. The other travelers each place a crown on a small plate and hand it to you. If you can pay the tax, to do so, the coach will be allowed to go on its way. If you have no money, turn to 50. Well, we don't have any money. We've done that before. The priest suddenly leans forward and donates another crown to the plate, and the coach is allowed to continue on its way. Perhaps you can return the favor sometime in the future, my son, he says, and returns to his seat before you can reply. But you notice how strange it is that the hood of his robe keeps his face in constant shadow. You are soon across the swollen river, and the journey continues. 249. Right, so here's where we get a description of the brothers. During the course of the afternoon, you chat with your fellow travelers, and everything is all good. And not wishing to reveal your true identity, you pretend to be a simple peasant. The travelers seem unaware. All right, turn to page 39. Okay. No, we're back in the same bleeding loop. The room costs 1 gold for the night, or 3 gold for anybody else as you're about to enter. If you don't have a ticket, you turn to... If you do not have a ticket, turn to 156. 156 says that he snarls at us, which turns us to 312, which means we die. We die. So, basically, we were dead before page 177 because we didn't have 20 gold to begin with. We died when that ship sank. That's what happened. So that's when we actually perished. Yes, capitalism, as Laura Bones says, if this book teaches capitalism, no money equals death. Gotta love built-in death loops. Great game design, very interesting. Now, we died when Guy couldn't gamble. No, that's... What do you mean I couldn't gamble? This was all your numbers. I would have chosen 3. He said, you know, not. So, yeah. No, we do still die with the gambling. The ticket... Oh, yes, if we had bought the ticket. Yes, we could have bought a ticket. And so that would have got us through. So yes, the gambling was what killed us. Let's try again. I'm feeling lucky. How about we do not gamble all the money away? Well, even so, we only start at 10. And so we still need to raise 20. So, folks, let's I'm going to do this just once. Just once. Humor me. Okay? Because I feel like just saying we have the cash is wrong. So we're going to bet 1 gold. All right? And we're going to bet on that number 6. So here we go. 1 gold. And the first is a 1. So we're down to 9. All right. We bet another 1 gold. Down to 8. Bet another gold. Okay. Up by 5. So we're on 13. Bet another one. 8. And we bet on 6. So down by 1. Bet another one. Down by 1. I mean, this is just insane. There's an 8 again. There's a 3. Down to 9. We are fated, just never... Well, now there's a 5. So that's on 14. We've crawled up by 1. There's another... There we go. Down we go. There's math that's going on here. There's match. We have to have a ticket. Because the coach driver, as everyone's saying, the coach driver stops you before you get into the tavern. So... There we go. Think about that. So yes, we can just carry on here. So now we're down to 13, and we roll again. There's a 5, and we said 6, so that gets another 5, so that's 18. So 1 more roll, that's a 7. Okay, so that gets us 23, and you know what, folks? Let's take it. Let's take it. Or must I roll again? I mean, I'll roll again. Let's roll again. 3. That puts us in 22. So now we're in deficit. 7. Okay. So that puts us on 27. All right. I think we should stick. What do you folks think? So stick or more? Let's see. Stick or more? Let's do this the democratic way. Yeah, gambling is easy when you have a safe space. All right, the votes are in. 95% of you say stick and run. There's 9% of you in there who are saying, well. All right, we are going to stick. So that means we bought a ticket rather than having to sneak onto the coach. So if you have a ticket for the journey to Port Bax, turn to 346. Here we go. And if we die in our sleep now, I tell you right here and then, this book has defeated me, and I shall have words. I shall have many, many words to say. 346. The driver nods and hands you back the ticket. The inn is warm but poorly furnished. You must eat a meal here, which will cost you 1 gold, unless you have a meal in your backpack. Let's use the meal and let's use 1 gold. Right. If you can afford the 1 crown for the room, go there. And if you have no money, so we basically we do have money, so we have to pay for the room. Turn to 280. Okay, we're alive for now. You sleep deeply without being disturbed before rising at dawn, gathering your equipment and joining the others as they board the coach. For 2 days and nights, the coach follows the trade route across the flat, treeless wildlands. It stops only to allow the driver to sleep. But on the morning of the 9th day of your quest, there is an unfortunate accident. Oh dear, 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 dear. Roll a random number, 0 to 4 or 5 to 9, and we've got 0 to 4, so we're going to page 2, entry 2. You are traveling along a narrow section of coast road which follows a dizzy course beneath high, overhanging cliffs. A rockfall has blocked the road ahead, and you must stop to clear it. You are helping the driver to lever a large rock from the path of the carriage when you hear the sound of falling rocks. A boulder crashes down from the overhanging cliff, killing the driver before you can make any attempt to save him. He was standing less than 6 feet away from you at the time of his death. If you have the Kai discipline of 6th sense, turn to 42. We do have the Kai discipline of 6th sense, so we're turning to 42. You sense that someone is on the cliff above and that you were the intended victim of their attack. Someone is trying to kill you. I bet you it's that assassin that killed us in our dreams. 168. Slowly, one by one, the other travelers appear and stare in shock at the dead coachman. We must bury him, says the priest. You silently nod your agreement and prepare a grave in which to lay the corpse. As you all walk back to the coach, you discuss what should be done. I know the road to Port Bax. I had better drive the coach, volunteers Halvork the merchant. I do hope we're not blamed for his death, says the priest nervously. It was an act of the gods, says Doria. I shall testify to that, says Gannon. Lies are never spoken by knights of the White Mountain. It is true that in Duranor, a true knight will only speak the truth, whether for his own good or ill. His words seem to reassure the priest, and you are all soon once more on the road heading towards the eastern horizon. It is late in the afternoon when you arrive at the coach station in a small coastal village known as Gorn Cove, which is mainly populated by outcasts, thieves, and sarls. The death of the coachman is met by the villagers with great suspicion, but Doria's words convince them that it was accidental. There is only one inn at the village, a tavern known as the Forlorn Hope. Its state of disrepair is typical of all the other hovels in this poor sea village. A room costs 1 crown a night. If you can pay, which we can, there is no implication that we can just choose not to, we turn to 314. There's an illustration. The innkeeper has a patch. The innkeeper is a thin old man with only one eye. He hands you a key and points to a balcony opposite.
"Number 2, the red door,"
he says. The other travellers each pay their 1 crown, collect a key and make their way across the crowded tavern floor towards the stairs. "We must make plans for tomorrow," says Doria. The others all nod in agreement. "I suggest we meet here in the bar in 1 hour to decide what to do." As you close the red door of your room, for some unknown reason you recall the words of Captain Kelman when you left Holmgard Harbour. "There is evil treachery at work when the enemy has... there is evil treachery at work when the enemy already has plans afoot to thwart your quest." An hour has nearly passed when your thoughts are disturbed by a knock at the door. It is the innkeeper, and he is carrying a tray of hot food.
"With the compliments of one of your friends,"
he says, and leaves before you can ask which one. The food smells most appetizing. You have not eaten today, and you must now eat a meal or lose 3 endurance points. If you wish to eat the hot food put before you, turn to 36. If you do not want to eat this food, turn to 178. And if you have the Kai discipline of hunting, turn to 290. Well, we don't have hunting, but I do not wish to eat this food. I really don't. I mean, no. Right? I mean, yeah. I don't think we need to put this to a vote at all. I think we're just going to avoid the food and eat our last meal. All right. So that puts us on 178. Although the delicious smell of the food is making your mouth water, you suspect that something is very wrong. You set the tray down by the door. Your hunger has made you tired, and you decide to take a short nap before meeting the others in the bar. When you awake, you see the bodies of 2 dead rats lying beside the food tray. They have been poisoned. The shock soon turns to anger when you realize that the poison was in the food intended for you. You grab your equipment and leave the room, intent on discovering your would-be assassin. There is an illustration. Is there? Yes. By the time you reach the bar, the others are all seated at a large table awaiting your appearance. Drawing closer to the table, you realize you have found your would-be assassin. You will have to attack without giving any warning to your enemy. So study your fellow travelers carefully and then make your decision. So this is the illustration which you have to look at. And unfortunately, this is one of those situations where you go, well, once you've seen it, once you've seen what's on the priest's wrist, the priest over there, it's the black serpent, which is what we saw before. So unless any of you want to attack the wrong person, which I really don't think we want to do at this time, I feel like we need to go and attack the priest. Parthian. 158. So I'm just going to put in a poll here. Attack priest or someone else? Is it too obvious, the snake? I mean,
Go forth, my evil assassin, branded with the tattoo of your maker. Slay the Kai Lord.
but I mean, it's a black snake, sir. Don't you think it's a little bit obvious? On my wrist, sir. Can't we put it on my inner thigh, sir, where they're not likely to look, sir? Or perhaps on my scalp, under the hair? I mean, come on, sir. Let's see. Yeah, evil isn't smart, they say. All right, the poll is in. 26 votes, which is more than enough. Gives us attacking the priest. 12% of you said someone else. So let's see. Let's see. 158. The priest does not seem to be surprised by your attack, and he draws a black sword from beneath his robes. The priest has a combat skill of 16, which gives us a combat ratio of 3. Not great. He has 23 endurance points. We only have 22. Here we go. Have at thee, you poisonous snake! Ugh. Enemy loses 5. So that puts him on 18. We lose 4. Oh dear, that puts us on 18. Well, at least we're even. I said, I will not surrender in the face of your evil. Ah! Well, enemy's on 11. Unfortunately, we're on 15. You are good with that dark blade of yours, but so would an agent of evil be. Ah! Yes, the enemy loses 16, we lose 0. 220. Searching the body, you discover all you need to prove that he was the assassin. Inside his pockets, you find a half-empty vial of gnurdum sap, the deadly poison that was used to taint your food. Then there is a scroll written in Gyak, giving details of your expected arrival in Portbacks. He must have located you at Ragaddorn and hatched his murderer plans there. You notice that the weapon he carries is a Dark Lord blade, fashioned of black steel and forged in the furnaces of Helgadad, the infernal city of the Dark Lords beyond the Dernkarg range. Only there, in all of vast Magnamund can black steel be made. But the final proof of his true identity is the serpent tattoo on his left wrist. The harbour thugs who attempted to kill you before you had even left Holmgard bore exactly the same mark. His purse contains 23 gold crowns, which you may keep. Thank you very much. Turn to 33. And yes, we get 1 back. Puts us on 16. 33 says we're going to carry on next week. So thank you all for joining me tonight. And hopefully this new time slot works out better for all of you folks. I'll have to see how it plays into my space. But so far I think it's pretty good. Remember to hit that like button if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. And for bearing with when we died so unexpectedly and then sort of floundered around trying to get us back on track. But I do feel like that gambling space, yes, we may have gone too far with the big wagers. Anyway, folks, I wish you all the very happiest of gaming. Remember, you can buy these books from Amazon or wherever you buy your books from. And we'll see you next week as the adventure continues once again. Until then, happy gaming.